Welcome, everybody, to another Sunday night edition of Talking Iowa Hawkeye Sports Podcast. We are live. You've got Kelvin over there. The other two guys are celebrating Mother's Day with their families. And I want to wish all the mothers out there that are watching tonight live, if you're taking the time to watch live or later on, I hope happy Mother's Day, and I hope you had a great Mother's Day today. I hope your families took care of you. And yeah, I know my wife, who's mother of our three kids, obviously, she was taken well care of by all three kids today, so she enjoyed that. I want to give a special shout out to a couple of people. The Villains Network, who allows us to put this show live on their network. They have several shows, including another Hawkeye show called the Hawkaholics. And so check out some of their shows. There's one actually going on right now at the same time we are, called The Golden Broom or something like that. They talk mainly college baseball and not just one school. They talk all college baseball. And one more shout out I need to give is Hawkeye Nation. I've forgotten to do this the last few shows. They allow me to post the stuff on their Facebook page called Hawkeye Nation, two separate words. And so you can hopefully find some of our content over there on the podcast. We've got a jam-packed show tonight. I want to say Paul's surgery was a success, and so we hope to see him soon. He's still not quite ready to come on the show, but he can talk again. What else do I got to say today? Well, I don't want
my surgery went through good. I got my navel cut like almost 64 years ago.
Okay, well then you're doing good, because 64 years now and you've been doing good.
Yeah, my
thing
navel
hasn't reopened.
My navel healed up already. So
yeah. Just think, God, almost 64 years old. So you got one more year before you're eligible for Social Security.
June 20. Oh, I've been on Social Security because of my health. Unfortunately, since I was 57 or 58, something like that.
Okay. Well, hopefully they're paying you good money. I heard disability checks pay better than regular Social Security.
Well, they took half my Social Security away, but anyway, but my disability check more than makes up for that. So
okay, cool.
Anyway, enough about me.
Yes. Okay, we got a packed show tonight. We're going to talk about some of the interviews tonight that the coaches did at the iClub outing on May 6th last week. Some interesting highlights coming out of that one. The only one I don't have, I've got highlights from each one of them, but I don't have Beth Getz because there's no highlights. Did you happen to listen to her interview at all and take any takeaways from that?
I listened to it. When it was on, and I sent it to you. But
yeah, well, I didn't get a chance to listen to that one. I listened to all the others, but that was the one I was going to do last.
And then I told you the one that Jan Jensen won. 247 actually had a longer one with Jan. It was the same questions and everything, but other people's either started later or ended sooner. But I listened to them, all of them. I don't know how much I remember of any of it now, but
yeah. Well, I got the highlights from the other three.
If we'd have had our regular Wednesday one, it had been in my mind. But
yeah. Well, so what I want to know is, before we get into, I'm going to get into Jan Jensen and women's basketball first. But I want to know if Beth Getz had anything substantial to say that you can remember. Anything that's earth-shaking, or,
she just answered people's questions. Talked about the Kirk Ferentz, Cade McNamara thing, and I'm sure she talked about NIL and the Swarm and Ben McCollum's new contract. She said it's coming out. Details will come out soon, and I can't remember much else what she said.
Okay. All righty. Well, let's get
If
right.
if I think of something while we're talking about the other subjects, I'll pop it back in. But
We are gonna. I want to get into women's basketball. I always do this first because the Iowa women's basketball page on Facebook allows us to post on there, and they only allow women's basketball content. So I like to always get the women's basketball out of the way first, so that
yeah, I wish they wouldn't have blocked me. But I don't know why, but
I don't know why they won't tell me. I've asked, but I can assume that you were posting more than just women content on there.
everything I put on there, like our podcasts, I'd make sure up in the headline had some woman's news in there.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. Alrighty. Where are we at? Where are we at? I gotta get to my highlights. Okay.
So we're gonna do women's first.
We're doing women's first, as always.
What subject you want to start with first?
I want to start with what Jan Jensen had to say in her interviews. I gotta just make sure I get the right one. Okay. So Jan Jensen was also at the same iClub outing on May 6th. And there's a lot of highlights that she talked about, and she just kind of talked about she's looking to add up to 2 more players for next year's roster. She's targeting a point guard and a longer guard wing. And that's different than what I thought, because I thought she'd be looking more for a power forward, so the wing must be her.
I think actually what she said was she expects to get 2 more this week.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think she's done when she gets 2 more, but she said she definitely needs a point guard that doesn't have to play much, but is there for practice situations. And and she said, I need a shooter, I'd like a taller wing that can shoot, but she's trying to get more than just those 2.
Yeah, I get it. But if she gets those 2 this week, she didn't say she was definitely get them. She said maybe. And so we don't know what she's going to get yet. But, we do know from the portal that she got Danny Carnegie. And speaking of Danny Carnegie, you sent me that comparison, but it's going to be too small to put up on the screen. And I know you can't read it. So I was going to go ahead and
you go through each subject the way you want to.
Yeah. So let's go talk about the comparison. As long as we're talking about Danny Carnegie, let's talk about the comparison to, is it Jocelyn Cambridge? Is that her name? Or
it ain't Jocelyn, Jaloni.
Jaloni. Yeah, that's it.
Jaloni. Jaloni.
Okay.
Easy to read and easy to pronounce.
There we go. Alrighty. So,
I see a T-shirt coming. So
yeah, there we go. They both play guard. Jelani is 5'7". Danny is 5'9". They're both sophomores. Points per game. Jelani 23.2 and Danny's 17.8. Rebounds per game 5.6 and 5.3 for Danny. So they're almost even there. Assists per game 4.4 for Jelani, 3.2 for Danny. Field goal percentage 49.4% for Jelani, 42.7% for Danny. 3-point 36% for Jelani and 35.4 for Danny, which so they're just about even there. Free throw percentage 82.4 and 83.3. Danny gets the better on that one. Steals per game 1.9 and 1.4, so they're basically about the same. Blocks per game 0.4 and 0.1. So Jelani's a little bit better there. Turnovers per game, 3 for Jelani, 2.3 for Danny. So Danny is a little bit better there. Games played, 35 and 32. Minutes per game, 32.4 and 33.5. So Danny's got a little bit more playing time. And so anything you want to say about those comparisons? I know you couldn't read them because you can't see them on your cell phone.
I kind of knew what the stats were. That's why I wanted Rick produced that picture where he put them on the same screen. I appreciated that.
Yeah.
But my point was that Jelani Cambridge was probably the runner-up in the Big Ten Player of the Year, and that's how good a transfer we got. We got a girl whose stats are not identical, but almost identical. And actually playing in the SEC, she probably played against a lot better defensive teams and a deeper league right down to the bottom than the Big Ten. So Danny
was All-American, wasn't she?
That's why she's first team All SEC.
Okay.
I presume she was like I presume, but she wasn't runner up for Player of the Year in the SEC or something like Cambridge was. But
SEC is tough, but she can be first team All SEC.
The point is, we paid a lot of money for Danny, and there's a reason why. Because she's going to be one of the depending on how much scoring load we let her have this year. She's going to be she should be a first team All Big Ten player, and who knows, she might be up there chasing Cambridge around as Player of the Year.
Yeah.
Don't know.
And speaking of Danny, Jan, I said Jen, but it's Jan. Says that Carnegie, she compares her playmaking ability to Caitlin Clark. I mean, that would be something if we did.
She's the only one person other than Caitlin that I can remember as having. Maybe Logic did, I don't know. But she's the type of person that can take you to the hole and you can't stop her, like Caitlin. She can pull up and stop it, or she can, like Caitlin. I remember Jan saying that in the interview. Like Caitlin, she does that. What do you call it? A step back 3-pointer. Where she'll fake dribbling and just pop back and shoot it and everything like that. But
yeah, and so and of course we got another Georgia girl, Jocelyn Faison, I think. Faison, okay. She's probably going to be more of a bench role player. She doesn't have a lot of playing time and a lot of experience, but I mean, because I feel like 8 of our top 9 players right now are going to be in the rotation most of the time, and I think Jocelyn will get some minutes. Not a lot of minutes. Maybe Eddie Deal type minutes, maybe.
Well, that's quite a few minutes. I mean, I think Addie probably played 15 minutes a game. I don't know that she'll play that much. I'm not jumping to a conclusion how much she plays, because she was like a top 69, 70 recruit in the country. She's 6'1" and was an off guard. I don't know. I think she'll come in as soon as her academic season's done at Georgia. She'll be in Carver Hawkeye or some gym there in Iowa City, practicing her 3-pointer and all that stuff. And you wouldn't think she'd be a big minute player, but after this year, she might be a big minute player. Because Whiting will be gone and stuff like that. But
so I wonder if Danny and Jocelyn both coming from Georgia, will come up together and maybe room together. Probably.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't either.
I know she's buddies with Chit Chat, but
No,
I
chit
guess
chat.
I said,
All three of them could room together.
whatever. I did say after Whiting's gone, but if they have 5 for 5, Whiting can stay another year. So
Yeah, she actually can now if she wants to.
yeah.
She falls into that now. But yeah,
But
Mari Whiting from
Faison,
Oklahoma State.
if we don't get another big player, you could see Faison at 6'1" being she'd be the 4th tallest player on a team, I think.
Take Hannah's role.
If Ava is in foul trouble like she was last year a lot, and you could see her backing up McKenna Walitsko. You could see her having to play some if we got in foul trouble, or don't even want to mention a dreaded injury.
Yeah.
With
Well, I just want to say that out of the 8 players, the first 8, not including Jocelyn, because I don't see her. I could be wrong. She might come in and just take over and become a starter. But I think
I doubt it.
I think Jan's got a heck of a job to do in picking 5 starters out of the first 8 players. Because I think that's where your bulk of your minutes are going to come from, and whoever's got number 9. Whoever is considered the number 9 player will probably get some minutes, and that's probably once the Big Ten comes. I would have feeling that 8 to 9 players steady, and I hope Jan learned her lesson and will trust some of the people on her bench this time, because I feel like that really hurt in those 2 games that ended our season.
I just don't think Jan had much of a bench. I mean, she had Journey Houston that was consistent, and that was it.
Right.
And Addie Deal was really good for 3 or 4 games, but that was it. And Callie couldn't shoot. Callie, good defensive player. Tegan Mulaney, Tegan Mulaney. Yeah, I heard rumors of her passing, but Tegan Mulaney just act like she was lost this year. After she got hurt and had tonsillitis, I thought she'd help a little bit more. And Layla was just like a big Philly colt that was young and flopping around a little bit. And I think she'll learning how to walk and all that stuff. And I don't mean that detrimentally. I just mean that she'll probably take a huge jump, just like Ava Hayden did, just like Monica Cesano did.
Yeah. I think Layla, Layla will be fine. After all, John says she's the best post player she's ever coached. So
I know one thing, Dean.
What's that?
I love you. No. I know one thing.
What's that?
And that is that Danny Carnegie, Chit Chat, and Ava are going to play all starters. They're going to play all the minutes they can.
Yeah.
Because Danny Carnegie is an All-American type. Chit Chat's pretty close.
Mm-hmm.
Chit Chats are a girl that can probably shoot 45% from 3-point land, and Ava's a star scorer.
Yeah. Now Jan
you've got to simmer down and please don't foul.
Yeah.
And then after that, that Stremlow and Whiting are going to battle it out to start at small forward or something. Whiting's just such a great way better, the best defensive player on the team.
Velisco? You got Velisco starting at Hannah's spot?
Well, I would think, but I don't want to presume that crap.
No, because we all presumed Addie Deal was going to be starting this year too. And guess what?
Yeah, I don't want to presume, and Journey Houston competes for her minutes, so
she earned her minutes. You got to earn your minutes.
Yeah, I earned my minutes like that. That was a pretty good jab at Addie Deal, I think. And but if Journey Houston is outperforming any of these other people, and you don't start her this year or don't play her enough, Journey will go play at Illinois or someplace. Yeah.
Well, I think Journey has a chance to play a lot. I don't know if she's going to be one of the starters. Not yet.
I don't either. I don't either.
I don't know, but she will play a lot more than she did last year. She will get in the lineup a lot. You cannot hold her back. And if Jan tries to hold her back and not give her minutes, then she's making a mistake. And this is a far cry from a year ago when I said that Journey was not going to be an impact player this year.
Anyway, Journey was just so. It was hard to remember a freshman player that was as consistent as Journey was.
Caitlin Clark.
In her 15 minutes a game or whatever.
Caitlin Clark, who probably played nearly 40 minutes a game in her freshman year.
But Caitlin, we just gave her the ball and she's playing. Yeah. And she's a superstar.
Yeah.
And Journey to be that consistent with limited minutes every week, that's hard to do.
Yeah. ESPN has ranked the Hawkeyes at number 6 in their early 26-27 top 25 rankings. Wow. That means they think a lot of the transfer portal people we picked up and think a lot of the people that we kept are good. But I think Jan hinted that Chit Chat might move to the off guard and Danny would take over the point, because they feel like Chit Chat is not a true point guard, but she could be more effective from the off guard position.
And if Chit Chat might be more effective playing 28 minutes a game instead of 35.
Yeah.
And with Stremlo can play. She's not a great point guard, but she can play point guard. She can play off guard. She shoots almost 40% from 3-point land. Stremlo's going to play a lot. And if Stremlo's the captain of the team, she'll probably be fine playing 30 minutes, but not be a starter. I'm not saying she's not going to be a starter. I'm just saying, as a leader like she is, and I think Journey Houston would be fine playing 25 minutes a game and not being a starter because she impresses you as that type of person when you hear her talk. She loves the Hawkeyes and I want to see who they're going to get yet, because I know the only person I've heard that we were in contact with was that Georgia Ferguson, who's a 6'3" girl from Canada who has 3 years left, and she's listed as a 6'3" wing.
Wow. And wasn't Hannah 6'3" or 6'2"?
Hannah 6'2".
Yeah, and so she's playing the 4. Move up and move Velisco to the 3. I mean, Velisco can play any of the 5 positions.
Yeah, I just figure Velisco's going to play the 4 because we don't have a 4.
Yeah, not yet. We don't.
And why would you move her to the 3? Then Journey Houston's going to look at you like, "What the hell are you doing?"
Yeah, because Journey Houston is probably our 3 this year.
And Whiting and Stremlo are going to look at you and say, "What the hell are you doing?"
Yeah.
That cuts into our ability to really help the team and depth. Oh, so by the way,
Hannah
Stolke supposedly is going to go play in Italy. Yeah.
That's good for her. Good for her. I think the reason the delay on that was, and the reason why she wasn't wanting to try out for any WNBA teams, I think she was waiting to see if the 5-on-5 would go into effect and see if she could come back for a 5th year. I think that's the reason why. That's just my opinion. I'm not saying I'm right or wrong.
My opinion is that Hannah, the NBA draft is right after the season's over, and then you go to, as soon as the draft is over, 2 days later you sign with somebody and go to a tryout camp. I think Hannah didn't go try out because of her elbow. I don't think Hannah's elbow was good yet, obviously. And I don't think that it was a fair shake to even go try to play against a bunch of really good players if your right arm ain't quite right. But
yeah. But
might
anyway,
as
I
well go
wanted
over
to.
in Italy and play a lot and work on your skills, get healed up whenever they play over there.
And then do like Megan Gustafson did, come home and get picked up by a team. But I think the best thing that happened to Megan Gustafson is expansion, WNBA expansion.
Yeah.
That helped her stick in the league.
I seen Megan didn't start, but she played well. Might have had 10 points or something.
Yeah, we'll get to that. We'll get to that when we talk about the WNBA Iowa players. But I wanted to say one thing I was trying to say, and that number 3 spot's going to be between Amari Whiting, Taylor Strimlow, and Journey Houston, and that is a heck of a battle. It makes you wonder who's going to come out for the number 3 spot. Because it almost seems like 4 of the spots are already taken up.
Yeah. I just want to see how Journey's, what we seen her do last year was just, she didn't seem to have much of a hole in her game, but I want to see if she's got any guard skills.
Yeah, I think we'll find out this year.
We'll find out real quick.
Yeah,
I kind of think she does.
Yeah. And her 3-point shooting, she didn't attempt many this year because Jan kind of held her back a little bit. But I'm pretty sure she will be shooting them this next season a lot more. Do you know what her season percentage was on 3
I was just going to say, I think it was 36.
Okay. All righty.
It was right in there someplace, 33 to 36%. And in high school, the recruiting writer for On3 said that she shot close to 40% in the upper 30s from 3 points in high school.
Okay. Yeah.
So.
All right. While we're still with the women's, let's talk about the. First of all, let's talk about Kate Martin getting waived by the Valkyries and being picked up for the developmental squad. I'm not sure what that means in the long run, but developmental squad for the LA team, and I think, as you said, that she had a couple teams to pick from, and she chose LA because she was happy with LA and what the things they could do there for her. Yeah. So I don't know much more than that, but can you explain? Do you know what the developmental squad is? Is that like a practice squad?
They have their regular roster size, which might be 12, 13 players. And this year, because of expansion and everything, and they're trying to make the ladies happy, give them more jobs in the WNBA. Each team has 2 developmental spots, which Kate's injured and can't play right now anyway. But they signed her, and when she gets whatever's wrong with her, muscle pull or whatever, whenever that's ready, a developmental player can play up to 12 games, which is like 1/4 of the season, and be a developmental player. After they play 12 games, when they play the 13th game, they got to be added to the roster as one of them top 12 players.
So if they've got somebody that's on the roster who's not playing much, they have to eject the one of the roster spots.
You'd either have a player that went on injured reserve and is out for the year, or you'd have to cut them to make room for Kate to move up. And then also read that a minimum they get paid was it $6,000 a game that they play? Which I think Kate makes more money than that, but I'm not sure.
Well, I mean, so does Kate lose out on her contract that she had with Valkyries, making so much money a season?
She's a 3rd-year player. I don't know if there's a minimum I have no clue on that. But anyway, she can play 12 games, and if she plays more than 12, then she has to be added to the active roster. And
Okay.
the way Kate, I listened to the short little interview she did today just before the show started, and Kate talked like Los Angeles wanted her pretty bad. And I would expect when she gets healthy, she won't be a developmental anymore after 12 games. But
Okay. And did you see
mhm.
Don Staley took a dig at some reporter?
Yeah, why? I read why, but it didn't make any sense.
Yeah, I was trying to think of was she trying to protect Kate or was she trying to put Kate down because
No, she
no.
was trying to protect her own player.
I know her own player, and so the guy, the way he wrote it, he made it seem like that Kate should have stayed over the other South Carolina player. But
Well, the guy just all he said was it came down to Kate Martin and these other two players. One was a gal named Chen, who I think Chen might be from Connecticut, might be a rookie, and then the other one was Ardmore or whatever her name was that played for South Carolina. And the reporter said that Kate's the one that got waived, and he said that was just a shame because she's so popular with the fans and everything. And then I don't know why Don Staley took that. Don's like Gino, kind of a butthole. And
well, I think what she was trying to hint at.
she says, well, that's a real dig at my player. My player played at South Carolina. It wasn't no dig at all. It was just a comment that Kate was very popular with the fans.
Yeah. Well, I think too is she kind of hinted that it was racism, but she didn't use that word because that would have got her in deep trouble if she'd actually used the actual word.
I don't know if it would have or not, but
yeah. All righty. Now I didn't get to watch the game because I was watching my grandson play soccer game and they got beat by the number one undefeated team in the league. But I was watching the scoreboard on the Indiana Fever versus Dallas Wings because I really wanted to watch that game because I really wanted to watch Caitlin versus Paige. And checking their stats after the game, they both had about an equal amount of games, except Caitlin. I don't know what's going on, but at Iowa, she was consistent with threes. As a Fever member, she can't hit the broadside of a barn on threes, and her stats show that yesterday again.
Yeah, I think she was 2 for 9, but I think she started out like 0 for 7 or something in the first half, and then
she was 0 for something in the first half. Yeah,
she went for. I think she went 2 for 2 in the second half, and then her back went out, and they took
did she
her.
Not finish the game?
Oh yeah, she went out for a while, and they said she was behind a curtain getting her back adjusted. She come back in, but you could tell she didn't even walk normal, let alone. But she played real good. She had 5 turnovers, but 3 of them were charged offensive fouls, so they weren't like she threw the ball away or anything. But
now there's a highlight of her dribbling the ball up to the top of the key, and she puts her hand on a girl, and the girl falls backwards. Like Caitlin pushed her backwards or something, and the girl flops, and then they're saying Caitlin says something about her flopping too much or something.
Yeah, that girl flopped a lot in the game, but got a couple offensive fouls on Caitlin, and then the last one they called on that girl, and then Caitlin yelled at him. She didn't yell at him. She just said with a smile, "You sure are a flopper," like that. Whatever.
Well, the one that I saw, she didn't flop. She got Caitlin pushing. You could see Caitlin going like that.
Yeah.
That's not a flop. That's not a flop.
But Indiana had Kelsey Mitchell couldn't hit a 3-pointer. I think Indiana's starting backcourt was like, I don't know, 4 out of 19 from 3-point land or something like that. And Kelsey had 3-pointers at the end to win the game or tie it, and she didn't hit them, but just happenstance. But they had players like Hull and Boston are back from injuries, and they weren't at full speed. Having 3 or 4 players gimping around. So
one of those blonde-haired girls
Paige
got
Beckers
screwed.
played.
Yeah,
Paige Beckers played really good.
Yeah, she did. Just according to the stats, I didn't actually watch. I watched another highlight where one of the blonde girls for the Fever, it's either Hall or the other one, Sophie Cunningham, got schooled by Paige, and they ended up on the floor while Paige made a layup right past them.
Well, that's the one where Paige ran Sophie right over. That should have been a foul. But
yeah, that's what I saw. That's what I saw. I didn't know. I couldn't tell from the highlight on my phone which girl it was. It was either I thought it's either Cunningham or Hall. It's one of those blonde girls.
I watched the whole game, and they were the Fever were behind quite a bit at halftime, and Caitlin came out and decided this ain't going to happen, and Caitlin led to come back, and they come back pretty quick. But
they only lost by 2 or 3 points, right?
3 points.
3 points. Okay.
The other team, Dallas, they couldn't. They had free throws at the end of the game. They must have missed like 6 of them in a row. But anyway.
Well, it's just that the Fever were predicted to had a 69% chance of winning that game, and and Dallas had like 31% or something. So Dallas are they going to be that good this year, or are the Fever just not ready to play yet?
Fever, I'd say the Fever are if they're healthy, the Fever are a way better team.
That's why I kind of thought,
Dallas has the best defensive player, one of the best defensive players in the league. A girl named Smith. She was wearing a face mask. She must have a broken nose or something. And they got Paige Beckers and that Abukie, or the other guard named Abukie, or whatever her name is. Fudd really didn't play that much, but hell, Fudd hit her only shot, I think. I don't know why she didn't play more, but anyway. But Indiana's a better team. Like I said, Indiana had 3 players hobbling.
Okay.
And that's my opinion. I'm no WNBA expert. So
let's move on to men's basketball.
I'm just interested in the Hawkeyes. I want to mention Lucy Olson today. Hit every shot. Yeah, she played 5 minutes, scored 5 points, hit a 2-pointer and a 3-pointer, and then they never played her again. And the team only lost by 3 points, I think. You got a girl that's shooting 100%. I'd think you'd have let her play it a little bit more. But
yeah. Well, the crazy thing about Lucy is she went overseas to Australia, had a fantastic season in Australia, and then comes up here and gets 5 minutes. I would have think that Lucy would be set for a little more than that.
Well, but the thing about the team she's on, it's the Mystics, right?
Yes.
They had so many draft picks. They have so many young players. It's like, who do we develop? Do we want to? They want to try to win, but that Citron girl, she was crazy today. She hit a high percentage of her shots and 20-some points and 14 rebounds. She's like a rich man's Angel Reese. She has better numbers than Angel Reese, and she can actually shoot.
Yeah. I wonder how Angel Reese is playing for the Sparks now, right? No,
just the Atlanta Green.
Yeah, that's it. I wonder how she's going to do.
Angel had another typical double-double in her first game, but she probably shot 30% from the field with 15 rebounds and 12 points.
Yeah, that's she's Hope she's happy where she's at. I hope she
But
settles down
if you
too.
didn't watch the WNBA yesterday, Dean, one thing you're going to notice real quick:
What
the officiating has changed.
is it
If
better?
you touch somebody, it's a foul. I mean, there's no more of this hand checking and all that. It's like
They're
the
trying to make
girls
the
have to
women's
get
game. Yeah, trying to make the women's game less
the girls
physical.
have to get used to it real
Yeah.
quick.
Oh, I gotta say though, their women are so chatty and so catty. I mean, catty and everything that even the men's NBA is not as physical as the women's WNBA. Those women just like get
Yeah.
catty and they just take each other out, and then they love
Yeah.
each other after the season's over. Anyway, one more thing I wanted before we go to the men's. I forgot I wanted to do. The top 5 teams for portal transfers for women. I was actually shocked. Oklahoma State was the number 1 team for the transfer portal. Louisville was the number 2 team in the transfer portal. Ole Miss was number 3 in the transfer portal. And here's 3 teams. I mean, I know Louisville's consistently among the best, but Ole Miss and Oklahoma State, are they normally that good that they can track some of the best players?
Oklahoma State's got T. Boone Pickens and oil money, so they spend a lot of money on every sport.
Okay. And then then they should be better at every sport than they are. Then TCU is number 4 and UCLA number 5. And so
that's just for the transfer portal?
Yeah, just for the transfer portal.
Okay.
I'm sure that UCLA will be among the number 1, number 2 team all season again. National champs. I just want to say that I'm so glad that the Big Ten finally has a national championship in the women's sport, breaking that stranglehold by Southeast Conference and UConn. Whatever conference. I think they're Big East.
Well,
or Atlantic Coast. I don't know.
And the 6'7" girl, Betts. Her start in the WNBA was a little slower, like 7 points and 5 rebounds and 3 assists. So
okay, alrighty.
Sometimes them big players, it takes a little adjustment, because they got to learn that. Oh God, I got to play against other 6'6" players, and stuff like that. So.
All right, let's move on to men's basketball. Let's start with Ben McCollum's interviews and comments at the iClub meeting last week on May 6th. One of the things that stood out for me is his talking about the freshman development of Urok.
Yep. That was a highlight for me.
Yeah. Noting that he improved in his pickup games, has high-level shooting and passing, predicting he will take a big jump next season. I think a lot of people thought Urok, or Jurok, whatever they're calling him, I think a lot of people wondered why he didn't play more, because I think a lot of fans and maybe media people saw a lot of potential in him. And so I do expect him to take a big jump. I'm excited for him, and I'm also excited to see this Thompson kid finally play.
Yep. I can't remember. Can you remember any other highlights of that? Polk County.
Yeah. Well, he talked about the freakish. Yeah. He talked about the freakish athleticism and energy of the 2 freshmen coming in, Ethan Harris and Jaden Kuhn.
Ethan Harris is a warrior.
Yeah.
He doesn't have that big old physical body, but he don't care. You'll like him.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and then they're both 4 stars. He's talking about his Elite 8 run and reaffirming his commitment to Iowa, having turned down external interest to stay in Iowa City. Yeah, my understanding is he had an informal interview with North Carolina, but when they asked him to come to North Carolina for a sit-down official interview, he said no. And I don't know why. I mean, if this is his dream job, I mean, I would certainly love to see him stay for a while and get this program to where it can compete with the Blue Buds.
Well, he's got a contract now that runs for 11 years.
Yeah, because they added 6 more years to his contract.
Don't know the details as far as pay. I don't think Ben really cares too much about that. Don't know what the buyout is, and it don't matter what the buyout is anyway, because if the only teams that Ben would ever be interested in would be teams like Kansas, North Carolina, or some school like that. That money is no object. They don't care if the buyout's $15 million. They just write out a check, you know. But the main thing about this contract was Beth getting donors to guarantee that Ben has a bunch of NIL money every year. I would think that Ben would have wanted 12 to 15 million, because people don't even realize Illinois was spending, when they talk about that revenue share, and a Big Ten revenue share was $20.5 million,
right,
for all sports. Illinois was spending more than that on basketball, and then they were spending more than that on football. So that revenue share thing has nothing to do with how much money a school has. It's all about rich people just forking over money, And Ben, if you want to compete, like I seen today, who was it? Indiana got a 7-foot guy. They already had all these recruits and all these portal guys. And today they announced they got a guy out of Slovakia or something, 7-foot 1 forward. Well, that's what Jurok has to compete against. Mm-hmm. We got a $1,500 guy from Des Moines going against it. And some of them guys, get 6-7 million a year. Yeah. So I don't want to ever hear Brad Heinrich saying that I think we're competitive in NIL, because we are not.
Yeah. He did say in one of his recent deals that men's basketball got a huge boost of influx of money this year.
Well, of course. It's like I heard Randazzo say on his show. He said, when I started this show, if we had talked about men's basketball, we had very few views. And if we talked about women's basketball, we had 4 times as many views.
And it's still that way now.
And then he said, right now, it's the other way around. Yeah. If we have women's basketball on, they get so many views, and the men get 4 to 8 times more. Mm-hmm. It's like Iowa was always a basketball school when I was a kid. Hayden complained about it. We got to turn this into a football school. And Hayden and Kirk, it's a football school now.
Yeah,
but
just ask Steve Alford if you don't believe him.
All we had to do was rekindle. Rekindle what was laying there. We had old ashes there, and Ben McCollum kicked them up and got a few of them orange ashes uncovered. And now it's a flaming and a going. And if he wins the way I think he will, if he has some money, it'll just keep going. But
yeah. Well, and McCollum plans on adding one more to the roster. It says to balance the team with both incoming freshmen and experienced portal additions. We don't want to forget that we got a 7'3" guy of our own, but he probably won't compare to that Slovakia guy for Illinois.
Ben, I think he was playing a little coy in that interview, because somebody said to him, "Your roster's at 14, isn't it?" And Ben, he goes, "I don't know." He says, "Tyler," he talks to Tyler Tashman. He goes, "Tyler Tashman, how many do we have on our roster?" And Tyler goes, 14. And Ben goes, "Well, Tyler says we have 14. I don't think we have 14. I think Ben didn't want to say that, well, we got a couple guys that might not be on the roster, like I don't know if that Cook guy is going to come back as a walk-on. I don't know if he'll make his boy a walk-on. You know, I think Ben didn't want to answer the question. And then they go, well, what would you add? And he goes, a guard. You know, he says, I'd add a guard that could help with the ball handling, a combo guard that could help with the ball handling and be a shooter like that. But
so that would leave Banks out from coming back, right?
I love Ben, but I think he was being a little coy there.
Yeah, so that would leave Banks from coming back, right? Because he's
that's why I think he's being coy. You know, we'll add somebody if we can, and then if Tavian Banks gets another year, you know, he'd readjust his roster a little bit, probably. But
Do you think the reason why we haven't got that third player is because he's kind of waiting to see what happens with Banks? Feels like he owes him because he followed him from Drake, and feels like he owes him if he wants to go back to Iowa.
You know, Tavian's one of the leaders of the team.
Yeah,
him and Manyow and Combs. Those three guys are the heart and soul of the team, and they're the ones that's going to develop all these young guys. So yeah, he take Tavian Banks back. There ain't no doubt about that. But I just don't know. I know this week is when the AAU tournaments start up, and I know Kakert, he's about the only media guy. Kakert, he's going to go follow the coaches around on the road this week. He's going to South Bend, Indiana, to the AAU tournament, and then someplace after that this week. And they asked Tom today, they go, well, who are you going to go look at? He says, I'm going to go look at our Iowa coaches and see who the hell they're watching. That's what he's going to do. And no other media source Tom isn't with some big media thing where they pay him, you know, pay these exorbitant transportation costs and everything else. But the other people, the other media people, Doctorman and all of them, they'll stay home. And Tom's just the nicest guy. You know, he'll just report to them. He'll say, well, these are the guys that Ben watched, you know. And then these other media guys can report, oh, we know that Ben's interested in this guy and this guy and this guy. But the only way you know is if you go and watch, you know. Ben ain't going to tell people, you know.
I certainly hope that tonight we're not getting any comments at all tonight. And I certainly hope that's because you people chose not to. Because even our regular commenters, and there's no comments, and so I hope there isn't an issue with comments coming through, because we're not getting any comments at all.
I think it's because of summertime, and good God, what's more depressing than when all you got to watch on TV is the NBA? You know, people find
the
other
NHL.
things.
NHL, Major League Baseball, college baseball. I mean, we're going to talk about Iowa and Nebraska college baseball game at the end, but you know what?
One of the top three teams in the major leagues, my Cubbies.
Yeah, I don't know where my Angels are at. I haven't really looked lately.
They're in heaven. Their season's over with there, Dean. So
yeah,
Mike Trout's having.
I'm going to tell you right now where they're at. Yeah, owners don't seem to care. I mean, they seem to keep that team buried at the bottom of the division all the time. Here we are. 1, 2, 3, 4. We're only 5 games out, though. 5.5 games out at 16-25, but we're in 4th place. Tied with Houston. I never thought I'd see the day where Houston would end up being in last place in the league. And the Athletics in the first place? Oh, my gosh.
Houston's, all them star players Houston has, they got old and moved on. It's like Bregman is the third baseman for the Cubs. Turner's the right fielder for the Dodgers, you know, and there's some of them, the American League, other than the Yankees got a real good record, and about everybody else in the American League is like 500 or below. It's pretty bad, but It's it's the Braves, Yankees, and Cubs got the 3 best records in baseball.
Okay. Bad news.
What's our next subject?
Well, it's going to be football, but we got bad news. People are commenting. The viewers can see lots of comments, and we're not getting any. Taylor Hink just let me know that there's lots of comments.
Oh shoot!
Guys, I'm so sorry. I don't know where the comment. Why we're not getting any comments?
It's all right. That's right.
Let me try this.
I just work here.
Okay.
Yeah, T. Hink could have been on the show, but no.
Well, I didn't ask him. I would have if I had known that.
I thought he was always welcome.
Okay. I think we found some comments. All
Okay.
righty. Let's go. Before we move on to football, let's go back and see if we can get some of these comments going.
Don't read any that are really, bad, like racist or political, or
Oh my God! You know how many comments we're missing tonight?
Or any. I'm speaking to one particular person that calls Kirk Ferentz names, instead of saying his name.
Yeah. Okay. So here we go. Alrighty. Okay, that's me. Alrighty. Alright. Dean, have you ever wanted to get a logo of your brand on the background screen? It's actually the logo is right behind us. You just can't see it. It's there.
Talking Iowa sports.
Yeah. And I also have a major announcement. I'm going to wait till the end.
Oh shit! I'm getting fired.
How'd you know? Okay.
Well,
you've been blocked by who? Hink wants to know who you've been blocked by.
It's called Hawkeye women's basketball fans or something like that. Yeah. The guy that runs it was on Dean's show one night.
Yeah. Okay. Bob Hoffman says, did you see where our football just got tougher with the Washington game on a Friday night? Yeah, we're going to come into that. We're going to talk about that, Bob. We're going to talk about that schedule. Yeah.
Kirk ain't worried about it.
Yeah. Bob says it's brutal. Definitely concerned that the women haven't signed anyone. Definitely concerned. They will. They have to find the right fit, the right players, and these players that they're going to sign are going to be players that are going to be going to be our bench players, our bench mob this year.
What women's sport is he talking about? We haven't signed anybody.
Women's basketball. He means that not
we got
more
Danny
than
Carnegie and Whiting and Faison.
Oh, he knows all that. I mean, I'm sure he's talking about we got to fill the roster out because 9 don't cut it.
We'll probably get 2 more this week. So.
Yeah. Bob Hoffman says we need to wrap up filling up the women's roster. When do the women start practicing? They report in June for summer workouts. And Hink says the same thing. Hink, I didn't see your comment until just now. Why do you think Faison will bring to the team, and could she be a nice surprise? She's definitely, Bob. She's definitely. I'm going to say she definitely has a lot of potential. I just think that she'll be coming off the bench for her minutes, and like I said before, I feel like that she'll get like not Taylor McCabe because I meant Eddie Deal type minutes, 10 to 15 minutes a game. I think Deal was getting less than that after a while.
Yeah, I don't know that she'll get that much, and especially if we sign some more. But she's a very nice looking developmental project at a 6'1" guard. She's quick and everything. She just didn't shoot. She didn't play a lot at Georgia and didn't shoot. Yeah. Didn't really put up any numbers. So I don't.
She has 3-4 years of eligibility left. She was
if there's 5 years, to play 5, she's got 4 years left.
Yeah.
But
okay. They want to know. Bob wants to know if they still practice against the men. Yes, they do. How many women are on the roster and how many are coming in the portal? There's actually currently going to be 8 on the roster with Velisco coming. That makes 9. She's not officially a member of the roster yet, but she will be when she reports. And I know the others, maybe they're a member of the roster but haven't reported yet. Yeah.
Anyway, we got 9, and the girls are probably playing basketball as we speak. They're just the coaches ain't coaching them, but
yeah, or getting ready for finals because they're about ready to wrap up their school year. Todd for the women, yes, okay. 9 players, okay. They're talking about they're helping each other out because we weren't answering their questions. Okay. Counting incoming transfers, yes, Todd. 9 with the recruit coming in, McKenna Velisco, and the 3 transfer portals people we picked up this week, so far. So there's 9.
And be patient.
Yeah.
Over half of the girls that are in the portal haven't went anywhere.
Yeah.
There's only probably 700 girls out there available.
Yeah.
You know.
Keep the comments coming. 18 folks in here. Yeah, there's 24 now. There was up as high as 30. There was 30 a little bit ago.
We get most of our viewers after the show's over. So
yeah. Do you guys think that the incoming transfers will be better in what transferred out? I think we've already improved 100%, a whole lot better than what transferred out.
Carnegie by herself is better than all of them that transferred out put together.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I was still hoping that Addie Deal could work on her game and her attitude and stuff and still be a member of this team because I still believed in her and I believed in Callie Levine. I just think that she got a raw deal not playing much. I think she deserved more playing time, especially the way Deal was playing. And so way Deal was playing, Callie Levine should have been picking up those minutes.
Well, Callie has to develop some type of shot someplace.
Yeah.
Even when Addie, no, she didn't. She'd shoot a 3-pointer and it'd be an air ball. You know, Addie Deal, wow, her 3-pointing dipped all the way down to 30%. You know, well,
yeah. Alrighty. Hink says Indiana Fever are overrated, not going to win a championship. Clark is an absolute ball hog. Yes, she is. Okay.
I wish she'd have ball hogged the ball more yesterday.
Bob Hoffman was impressed with Dallas. They're going to be surprised some people. Todd Spiker, I think that's how you say your last name's Todd. The thing that I noticed most about the women last year in the half court, they stood around more than they moved. And correct me if I'm wrong. What would you say to that?
You talking about the Iowa women or Indiana Fever?
No, the Iowa women.
Yeah, they went to a 2-post offense, triangle offense, and next year they're going back to the 4-out offense, which is if you remember, was really cooking. You know, when you had Kate Martin at a 6'1" power forward, you know, play with 4 guards. That's pretty much what it's going to be next year. Wilitzko ain't a guard, but Wilitzko has some length to her shot. You know, I don't know if she's going to hit 35% of her 3-pointers, but she has a very good 15-footer, 12-footer, you know, so it'll be a different. Jan has said that they're going to the 4-out offense next year.
Okay. All right. Hink says for men's basketball will always be king. It was great for 4 years, but it's starting to go back to reality. She's going to be injured her whole career. I presume that is doesn't say who we're talking about.
I'm sure he's talking about Caitlin Clark.
Yeah, I was kind of thinking the same thing.
Always got to be always got to be pessimistic.
Yeah, so that that must be
in a
when
wheelchair next year.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. we talking men's basketball. We did. I wish Denise Long from 1969 Union State Championship team would get into coaching. She averaged 96 points a game in the tournament. Wow.
That would make her a great coach. Yeah. So
I harken back to the Iowa coordinator.
I don't know why we don't have all the whole football staff should be ex quarterbacks at other schools that threw for Johnny Manziel should be head coach at Iowa.
Yeah. Toll House is back under Toll House, but he dropped the E. He's talking about the comments. The comments, remember them? UCLA is losing a lot of gals off their team. USC will be a threat next season with the return of Juju Watkins and the freshman of the year. What was her name? I forget her name.
It don't matter. Jersey Jazzy.
Yeah. I asked you about a month ago about
one is named Jersey and one is Jazzy.
Yeah, there you go. I asked you about Jurok a month ago about whether he'll push for a starting spot. Of course, I believe he will. I didn't understand why he didn't play more.
He just when I watched him play, he just had a hard time with guarding people on the exterior of the court.
Yeah.
And I'm sure Ben's been working with his feet,
Yeah.
Well.
Hank is pointing out that Creighton and Iowa will be playing in Des Moines in November, 15th or something like that?
The Casey Center, 17,000.
Formerly known as the Wells Fargo Center. And, of course, Ben got a 6-year extension. That's brought up by Hank. I think we're going to get caught up here in a minute so we can go on with the rest of the show. But I'm not sure any contract is worth much in college sports anymore. And that's very true. That's very true. A lot of them have a clause that lets them out or get bought out if they leave early. I'm curious to see how much NIL they will get each year. Oh, Vandy. Vandy must not be doing his Golden Broom show tonight. UK, I guess that's University of Kentucky, was the only school paying $20 million for a roster in basketball in 2025-26. They paid $22 million. Hink says
that's what he thinks.
Yeah. There is one football team paying $50 million for their roster this year. Okay, who is that? Vandy? Are you know?
Texas Tech played more than that last year.
Yeah. It doesn't matter about walk-ons, not 15 players on each team. Okay.
What's he talking about?
I think because we were talking about how many roster spots were up and everything, and our walk-ons have to be a part of the 15 now. I believe. Are we not?
That's correct? Right. That's right. I said
and they didn't used to have to be a part of the 15.
Jacob Cook, the walk-on at Iowa, would, if they didn't have him as part of the 15, he'd have to say, "I'm retiring from basketball," or go play someplace.
I thought Ben's son was also a walk-on, but I could be wrong. The cap is 15. We're at 14. Yep. Toll House, we still have Ben McCollum Jr. on the roster. Says, that's a you issue because we can see them. Okay, so now it's now we're catching up to the end.
We're up to date.
Almost, not all the way yet. Hopefully Ben and family want to set down roots after moving the last 2 years. Villains Media Network is okay, never mind. That's advertisement. Todd Spiker says none on here, Kelvin. I guess that means about the I'm not sure what he's talking about. Okay. Looks like Dean and Kelvin are having some technical problems if they can't see our chats. Texas Tech paid $32 million this past season for their roster, and LSU's paying $50 million for their roster this year.
Texas Tech said publicly they spent $186 million on all sports NIL last year.
Yeah, we're almost caught up, buddy. There will be no less than 15 to 20 schools paying $25 million or more in basketball this coming season. Nasty comments is what I was referring to, Todd says. There we are. We're caught up.
Oh, yeah. What about nasty comments?
I'm not sure because that's referring to something else. So
I don't know.
you know.
What was I going to say? Oh, by the way, they mentioned the Broom podcast or whatever.
The Golden Broom.
Iowa got swept at Nebraska in baseball this weekend. So
okay, can we save that for where I planned it in the show?
Well, you didn't mention baseball.
Yeah, I sent you the thing. It's on here.
Yeah, but guess what? What? We get swept. We get swept, and we're in the Big Ten tournament. So
we're still in the Big Ten tournament.
We are in the Big Ten tournament, and
okay.
there's only 3 teams that have been in more consecutive Big Ten tournaments. There's 2 other teams that's been in as many consecutive Big Ten tournaments as we have, and everybody knows we got a really good coach. We ain't got no money. That coach at Iowa, he is something. You got Ben McCollum, him, and Kirk Ferentz. Praise the Lord.
Yeah. Todd explains. He said Kelvin said when you weren't getting any comments that none of them were nasty. Okay. Golden Broom right here.
I was joking about nasty, but
okay. The Golden Broom I got a notice on this one from them. Mm-hmm. Says we did our show earlier and interviewed Nick Durba, the head coach of Maine Black Bears baseball team. Mm-hmm. I think that's.
Is there somebody named Walker on that show?
Yes.
This guy named Walker. This guy named Walker today sent me a thing about the Maine baseball coach today, and I thought, okay, I didn't open it up because I thought, well, I ain't interested. I'm just interested in Hawkeye stuff. So he's part. So 1 + 1 equals Walker's part of that Broom show. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm going to tell it right now. We have an agreement to interview, I can't tell you who it is yet, a head coach from the University of Iowa in a sport, obviously. And we're going to have that interview soon, I hope. We're just waiting. We're trying to get a date and time together.
Is it a sport we'll know anything about?
Yeah, some people will. I'll explain it to you later. Terry Walker.
I think I know who it is.
Speaking of Terry Walker, he helped set this up, and so.
Well.
Okay. Oh, there's a possibility of them interviewing Rick Heller sometime in June or July.
Cool.
Not if we beat you to it, Golden Broom.
I don't have more respect for any baseball coach in the world. I don't care if it's little league on up to major leagues as I do for Rick Heller. So. He's a bottom up guy, his long career. Ooh.
Yeah. Okay. So let's move on to football and some of Kirk Ferentz's comments at the iClub this week. I got these comments. I've screenshot all of them, so I had to make sure I get them.
Oh, cool.
Okay. Kirk says he's optimistic about Iowa's depth and hard work, noting that 90% of the roster was on campus in January. And so that's pretty good. Working out. That means a lot of the recruits must have skipped their senior year.
I think there was only out of the transfers and high school recruits. Of course, all the transfers are there. But all the high school recruits, I could look at my list right here and tell you, but I think there was only like 5 or 6 that aren't there. And that's including walk-ons, And most of the guys that weren't there are stars in other sports. They wanted to be at the Drake relays and stuff like that, or play baseball or something.
Yeah. Well, the baseball ones won't be here until August then, because Iowa baseball for high school goes until July.
I don't know if any of this baseball guy I was talking about was the guy from Utah, and his season's I presume that most places don't play baseball in the summer like Iowa does, but
Okay. All right. Just one more thing about the women's. Hannah's inability to develop her mid range was a huge disappointment and might be the reason for missing the draft. I wish her well in Italy. I'm going to agree with you on that one. She never did develop her shot for mid range, and you almost have to have a good mid range shot in the WNBA and the NBA.
Yeah, without the long range shot, she needed to be a couple inches taller because she's athletic enough to compete with a 6'6" girl if she's 6'4".
Yeah,
we've seen that all along, but hell, if Aaliyah Boston was 6'2" coming out of South Carolina, she'd been in the same deal because she could not shoot a 3-pointer.
Yeah,
she's developed it now, but
yeah. Okay, question from Todd. Do we have a good punter and field goal kicker? What do you think? Just your opinion from what you've heard and seen from everybody, because you probably have seen more of that.
I think both of our place kickers are adequate, but we ain't gonna have a place kicker line up for a 70-yard field goal, maybe ever again, because Stevens was special.
Yeah.
But I think obviously this field goal kicker from North Dakota, where the hell ever he was from, was a proven kicker. He just ain't proven to line up at what he made a 52-yarder in spring game or something, spring practice, but we'll be fine, but we'll just go back. We'll go back to the field goal kickers like when we had, what did we have, a guy named Messino or something there when we played at Yankee Stadium in the Pinstripe Bowl. You don't always have an All-American place kicker, and you don't always have it. You never have a Tory Taylor again.
Yeah. We have been so spoiled recently by good punters and good field goal kickers. I don't know anything about this punter that we got from Australia, and I believe we got one. Is he from Simpson College, or is that a place kicker?
Philippot is the left-handed punter from Simpson, and then we got the other guy, Everett. His last name's Everett from Australia, and he's never had a football helmet on until he got to spring practice. But only time will tell.
Yeah. I ranked our 9 positions. I accidentally put 10, but and I put as number 8 out of 9. I put the special team field goal kicker in a tie for 8th place because they're both special teams, and so I did that because I think there's so many questions about that team right now. I'm going to keep this, and I want to see at the end of the season how right I am, and I will go over this.
The best thing about our team, as I look at it, is we are so deep about every place. Usually we're deep every place. But like Kirk said in that interview, I don't know if you're going to mention it, he says we're not proven any place except at tight end and running back. Yeah. We're not proven in any position group. He says, I think the offensive line's going to be all right. But he says, running back, we got 4 guys that we could line up next week and we're going to be fine.
Yeah.
And he said, tight end, we're fine at tight end. But he said, if you had me write who I thought was going to start today, he said, I doubt that I'd get 60% of the positions right. Because that's how much development, how many young players we have competing for jobs,
Golden Broom wants to know if we're actually deep at quarterback. We are not deep. We got 2 guys that I think are competing. There'll be 1 and 2. I'm not sure that the other guys right now are ready to step up and be that. I want to go back to this question. When can we get tickets for Iowa men's versus Creighton on 11/15? Bill, I don't know the answer to that question. Have you heard anything?
Casey's Center.
Or the school.
I don't
the
think
schools.
it's probably not going to be a school thing.
Yeah.
I doubt that it's a home game for either team.
Yeah.
So
Now, Kirk did talk about this, and this was before he knew that the Washington game was on a Friday night. He acknowledged the difficult 2026 start, which includes road games at Michigan and Washington, plus a home game against Ohio State, emphasizing the need for immediate readiness. Yeah, they got to come out of the gate if they want to. I personally believe to make the playoffs, they got to get one out of those 3 games. And if they can get 2, that would be great. But right now, a projected Ohio State is a projected 19-point favorite over Iowa.
Mm-hmm. Did you have the point spreads on the other games? Or?
Yes, I do. Give me for just a second. Vandy says we can send you 1 or 2 of the 6 QBs that we have in the Nashville area. Thank you.
Can anybody on Vanderbilt beat Iowa? Oh, Brian Allen might be because he's an ex-Hawkeye. He knows how to play football.
Is Brian Allen
he's at Vanderbilt? He got a lot of money.
Wow. He must have been a really good one.
Well, he was a good one at Iowa on third down, but he was not. Kelvin Bell ran him down to the new recruits the other day. They were watching him play, and he said, notice, what was his number, 90 or whatever his number was? He says 90 just will not follow orders.
Yeah. Okay.
Not playing defense. Well, what I wanted to say about the quarterback depth.
Go ahead.
We're deeper than we have been for years, but we don't have a starter. I mean, remember when we had, I'm not going to mention his name. Okay, I'll mention it. Remember when our backups were Deacon Hill and Marco Linez?
Yes.
Do you remember that?
Yes.
And do you remember when we had, what was Shaggy?
Shaggy.
Yeah.
Shaggy's the only undefeated quarterback in Iowa history. I just want to put that on there.
Maybe. I don't know. But I don't know. I want to point out that Howard Jones had some football teams that didn't lose for 3 years at Iowa.
Okay.
Maybe the quarterback was unbeaten.
Okay, I'll say in Kirk Ferentz history.
One like 2 of them, what do they call them? Fake national championships where somebody picks you as a national champion. But what the hell was I going to say? Oh, I put Jimmy Sullivan over Marco and Deacon and Shaggy any day of the week.
Well, and Jimmy Sullivan he was our number 3 that year, and he had to play.
His name wasn't Jimmy.
Huh?
Jimmy Sullivan is Addie Deal's boyfriend.
Oh, that's right. I get those.
We had another guy
up.
that I just remember as Sully.
Yeah, Sully. Yeah, he was our number 3 quarterback, and he had to take on the team, and then he got hurt, and we were so desperate for quarterbacks. Shaggy was our next quarterback, and I believe a linebacker or somebody was backing up Shaggy.
Sully was our number 2 quarterback that year to McNamara. McNamara got a concussion. Sully come in, and he could run the ball pretty good. And then Sully got hurt, and then Marco broke his hand. So that's why Shaggy was playing. So
I like this Todd Specker. Okay, Deacon Hill was about as useful as an Amish electrician.
Yeah, I had an Amishman fix my cell phone, but
okay, I was gonna mention that
don't underestimate Amish nowadays because they ain't as Amish as they used to be.
Yeah, I wanted to mention that both Michigan and Washington are 8-point favorites against Iowa.
Yeah,
I still think out of those 3 games, I think Michigan is probably going to be the most winnable game.
That's what I was going to say.
Okay.
Yeah. I would
Washington,
say Michigan,
the intangibles are all against Iowa.
I would say the most winnable games are number 1, Michigan, number 2 at home against Ohio State, number 3. I'm like Tom Kakert. When we win a game on the West Coast on a home field, I'll believe it.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I I was going to say that's part of the intangibles that we're going up against. Plus, it's a Friday night game on a short week, and
Plus,
and who knows what our
Washington's
quarterbacks are going to be like by that time.
plus Washington's rated 14th in the nation.
Yeah,
They're a damn good team. It's so funny to me. People live in the Midwest, and they act like they can't even recognize how good another team is just because they're out on the West Coast.
That's because I'm going to tell you guys. I live on the West Coast, obviously, but that's because when I lived back there in the Midwest, all the West Coast games were in the evening, and you guys have stopped getting the television because they come on at 7:00 our time, 9:00 yours. You guys were no longer getting any football at that, so you didn't get to see any Pac-12 football.
I heard Urban Meyer say on the Big Ten Network, Washington over the last 40 years has been one of the top 10 elite teams in college football history. They had a few down years here in the 2010s or something, but other than that, they won national championships. They got to the national championship game like 3 years ago. But last year them and Michigan were the two youngest teams in the Big Ten, and they had a good team last year.
Yeah.
Somehow lost to Wisconsin, but
yeah. Todd, thank you for your comment. Nobody in Nashville thought we could beat Vandy either. So yeah, I see where he's coming from. Vandy says we aren't beating Ohio State. Stop dreaming.
Well, you can quit saying we. Well, I agree with you because we is the University of Vanderbilt. You are not an Iowa guy. You're a Vanderbilt guy. So yeah, we are not playing Ohio State. You probably won't even get the opportunity to play the Buckeyes this year, because you guys couldn't even beat Iowa, So
yeah, God, something's going on with my lighting here. I'm graying out here, but when I touch my light, it comes back, and then when I go back, it goes. Yeah,
and people don't care what we look like, Dean.
Yeah. Okay, let's continue on. Okay.
Were you on the Kirk interview?
Yeah, I'm working on it. Okay. Ferentz is high on the development of the offensive line and special teams going into fall. I'm going to tell you right now, I've got the O-line 7th. And, of course, I've already said I got the special teams 8th because I think there's a lot of question marks there. And it'll be interesting at the end of the season. I'm going to re-rank them. Right now, I've got running back and tight end tied for first place at 1 and 2.
You know what the bad news is, Dean?
What's that?
Most of you guys will watch every Iowa game, and you'll have no freaking clue how good the offensive line played at the end of the game because you won't even watch it.
Okay. I judge it by how well the quarterback is protected, how many holes that they open up for the running backs. And so, yeah, that's how I judge the offensive line. Now, I could be wrong on how I judge it, but okay. Ohio State is bringing back most of the most accurate quarterback in the nation, best wide receiver in the country. Iowa won't beat the Buckeyes. Well, I won't pick them. I'm going to pick Ohio State.
I won't pick Iowa either, but I know that we beat way better Ohio State team than we were. Was that the last time they come to Kinnick?
Yeah, they haven't been to Kinnick since.
Yeah, we made
a few trips. We made a few trips to Kinnick. I mean to their place, but they have not come back to Kinnick. The only time they were supposed to come back to Kinnick was during the COVID year, and they dropped that game.
That game is known by 2 words.
What?
Here in Iowa, we call it the Woodhouse game, right? Woodshed game.
Woodshed game, yeah.
Yeah, we call it the Woodshed game, and
that's because the Des Moines Register came out the next day and said Woodshed.
Yeah.
Headline.
Okay. My second part that I was going to say is Ohio State people, they remember it as the outhouse game because they played like shit. So.
Okay. Quarterback situation, he indicated that competition continues. Mentioned that the spring allowed them to start at the start to build a foundation for the younger players. I don't know what that has to do with the quarterback situation. That's the only thing I have. He noticed that his team is a lot younger than it was in previous years, but has shown progress, which is probably why. And I want to talk about this. We've got 10 actual high school recruits coming in for 2027, and they're probably not going to recruit many more because I think what do you got?
I can't read it. That's our high school commitments.
Yeah, I got them down too, 10 of them.
What I wanted to say is you skipped a couple things, Kirk. To ask him about the defensive line. That's obviously the biggest worry, right, Kirk? Yep. And he said, well, we don't have proven people there. But he said, right now, I'd say, and he was talking about defensive tackle. He says, we have 9 or 10 guys that can play right there right now. They're like the rest of our team, very young, and we have to develop them over the summer.
Yeah.
Now,
Bob wants
if they could rotate a bunch of fresh defensive linemen, their defensive line might be just as good as last year.
Okay.
Keep them fresh and play a lot of them situationally. And that was his other point was the whole roster. It's the youngest he can remember. And a lot of kids haven't been indoctrinated in the Iowa way yet, which means it's like he described the 2 wide receivers that are the fastest we've had for a while, the Diaz and Evans. He said they are too skinny. They look like they've never lifted a weight. They're going to they're going to lift weights now. And that's what he said. It's going to be a quick development year. And that'll tell us how good we're going to be.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Dean.
Oh, yeah. Do the left-footed punters bring a different wrinkle for punt receivers?
The ball rotates different, the opposite way. People have said that. Well, I don't know if they rotate the opposite way. I know left-handed passers, wide receivers have said they have to get used to it because the ball rotates the opposite direction as a right-handed passer. So, but maybe kicking the ball doesn't have anything to do with the rotation of it, right or left-footed. Go ahead.
All right. No. Okay. I wanted to read these rankings that I did, and I didn't necessarily need you to do one tonight, but I kind of I want you guys to tell me, you and people out there, how close they think they are. So I got 1 and 2 running back and tight ends. You could flip-flop them. Number 3, defensive backs. And honestly, I put number 4, I put wide receivers. Gosh, that's awful high normally for wide receivers at Iowa, but
Dean's
thinking about what we got returning and what we brought in.
Dean's gonna admit tonight that he was wrong about the wide receiver coach. Go ahead, Dean.
Yeah. I put quarterback at number 5 because I feel like the rest of this is a lot of question marks. Yes, we have question marks at quarterback right now, but I put 6 linebacker, 7 O-line, 8 the special teams, and 9 the D-line, which kind of fits along with Kirk's thing about a lot of question marks at the D-line.
I think Kirk would have the offensive line at number 3. So we're gonna have a really good offensive line this year as long as people don't get hurt.
Yeah. So do you want to bring up who we're bringing in for our 10 commits for the 2027 class?
We'll start at the top. The quarterback from Tennessee, Braden Santabinez. He's 6'3", 205. I guarantee you, by next fall he'll weigh 220.
Yeah, and speaking of quarterbacks, it sounds like in our last 2 classes, one coming in the fall because he's not here yet, and the one we're getting the following year, that we've brought in probably 2 of the most talented quarterbacks that we've had in a long time at this school. And that kind of excites me, but I hope it doesn't cause somebody to transfer.
Well, they'll come in and compete. Bessinger's the best thrower I've seen. Santa Benez, I've seen him. He's got a strong arm, and he is a hell of a runner. He'll run right over you. But Santa Benez, you ain't gonna find this great amount of tapes of him. I looked for tapes, and I seen it. Boy, he's got a wicked little arm. Kind of throws a little sidearm, not sidearm, but 3/4, which I don't care how you throw it, as long as you complete it. But he can zing the ball, and but the thing is, he split. He wasn't even their starting quarterback last year in high school. The reason he's now being recruited at a high level, is that they have these rival camps and stuff. And he went there and impressed Iowa coaches and other coaches around the country. So, yeah, I'm not going to christen him as some great recruit, but
okay.
You got to have a little bit of, faith in Lester picking these guys out, and Tyler Barnes. Tyler Barnes picked out Bessinger last year. I don't know if I have too much faith in Lester because he hasn't really proven a lot. He's proven that we can score 30 points a game with a great offensive line the last 2 years. Brian Ferentz scored 32 points a game with a great offensive line with Petrus as quarterback.
Then we went for 3 years of offensive line that just sucked big time.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying is, I know we're all excited about Lester, but I'm just trying to be fair. Anyway, at tight end, of course, is Jax DeJean. He has dropped from a 4-star to a 3-star.
Why is that? Because he went to Iowa?
No. I think that people watch his film instead of looking at who his brother is.
Okay.
I know I've corrected you a couple times when you have said he's better than Cooper.
Well, that's what everybody was saying, that he was better than
Cooper. I don't know
Cooper.
who the hell everybody is. Everybody ought to turn on the film. He's taller and bigger than Coop. Probably weighs about the same as Cooper right now, probably 205 or something, but he's 6'4". Well, he's over 6'4", but not the athletic ability. Might end up being a great tight end. But anyway, he's our tight end. We've got 2 tackles, Newman from Ohio and Brenneman, who's from, I think he's from Lutmer's High School out there in Western Iowa. I love both these guys. Brenneman's like 6'7", 270, but very athletic, great technique. And then Newman is a guy that could play defensive line, but he's probably 6'5", 270. And both of them have really great technique. We lost another offensive tackle named Holloman, from down in East St. Louis or whatever. He went to Illinois, and he's always said he was going to Iowa, but I think Iowa got these other 2 tackles and probably kind of cooled on him. But he's going to go play for Bielema. He committed yesterday. We got 2 defensive tackle types, no block, or no blah, as some people say. I say no block. And he's 6'6" or 7. And he reminds you of that Nelson that plays for Tampa Bay that played at Iowa. And then we got Reardon from the Chicago area. And his brother is a freshman at Iowa in the offensive line. I love both them defensive linemen. And we got 3 linebackers. We got Stecker from here at Bettendorf, Iowa. And we got Bingham.
Gavin Stecker, so people would know.
Okay. And we got Bingham. I just write down their last names.
Okay.
And we got
Raylan.
Bingham. And we got Bingham from what the hell town is he from? Do you have it written doaan?
I don't. I just have him down as a linebacker.
Yeah. And then we got the guy last week who's my favorite one is Van Manen, who didn't have any Division I offers except Iowa. He had offers from South Dakota, North Dakota State, North Dakota. He's 6'3", 220 pounds. If this guy, if you watch his film, if Jason's out there, I know Jason watched film of Jack Campbell play in high school. If this kid don't look just like Jack Campbell playing, I'll eat my hat, and he's from, is he from Pella or someplace? And then our last commit is the Tees kid. I pronounce it Tees. It's Thies, and he's from the Chicago area. He's a safety cornerback cash type guy, and I like them all.
Did you mention Nate Brenneman, offensive line? Okay.
Yeah, he's the one from Lutmer's school. He's like 6'7", 260 pounds, 70 pounds, and I just love his technique, and we're gonna take a running back, and since Jay Norvell's come, he's offered some running backs in faraway places that we haven't recruited in a while, because he's very he recruited in the California area, the southwestern United States, and at his prior jobs all over. And we'll get a running back. We're going to recruit one wide receiver, I think. One of the guys that's visiting is, remember Donovan McNabb?
Mm-hmm, I do.
Yeah, he almost come down to Iowa and Syracuse. He's from the Chicago area, like Mount Carmel or someplace like that. Hayden wanted him real bad, but Hayden was getting old. And he went to Syracuse. Anyway, his boy's named Donovan McNabb Jr. And he's got Kansas State as his favorite. And anyway, he's one of the guys visiting. But we're recruiting. We only want one wide receiver, I think. And we're recruiting 4 or 5 good ones. I'm sure we'll get one of them. We're going to recruit a couple more. Another tight end. One of the tight ends we offered is Charlie Kohler's brother. I think he's from Norman, Oklahoma. I think he's going to go to Oklahoma. But Kohler played for the Iowa State Cyclones and now in the NFL, I think. But I have faith. Tight ends are like a dime a dozen. The last week of recruiting, we picked up some guy named Sam Laporta in February. That he was going to go to Bowling Green. And he comes to Iowa, and he might be as good a tight end as we ever had. This recruiting rating stuff is not what it's all made up to be, Dean. You know that.
A lot of it has to do with who's recruiting them. Like if Ohio State and Michigan are recruiting him, he's probably a 5-star, so they just throw a 5-star on him. If Iowa's recruiting him, it's probably 3 or 4-star. If Ohio State and Michigan don't have their claws in it.
But I guarantee you, like a Jack Campbell, a Cooper DeJean, Sam Laporta, we start, when they get an Iowa offer, they go from being a 2-star to a 3 or 4-star. Oh, Iowa must want them. It's a tight end and Iowa wants them. They can't be a 2-star. There's some 4-star tight ends that Iowa didn't even recruit this year from Iowa. They didn't want them because Kurt didn't think they were good enough.
Well,
I can name a couple of them.
Either that or two, they really vet these guys what their home life like are, what they're like personally, and they want them to come in here and fit into an Iowa culture, because you remember the one year where Kirk got all those 5-stars out of Texas, and only one of them hung around for a little bit, and then he eventually left. But the other ones never came, and he didn't want that kind of attitude on his team. He did not like it, and he kind of quit going for the most talented people he could get, and started looking for people he could develop that were underappreciated, not underlooked over, and that kind of thing, and people he thought he could develop into Iowa culture, and people that could take time to develop. And Todd Spiker says this: if anybody can develop under radar guys, Kirk and Phil are the ones, and they have been doing a great job. over the
and
years. People who are not been highly recruited
and
end up
the guy
in the NFL.
And the guy that's the real secret is Tyler Barnes. He finds these guys, like this Wallace kid who's probably going to be a starter this year at Cash. Nobody knew anything about him. And Tyler Barnes found him he was at a great big famous Washington, D.C. high school. Real good. So he sent Phil out to look at him. They come and they go, oh, another Phil Parker find. No, Tyler Barnes found him, But what I was going to say, and here's another thing. Last fall, one of our guys there, Vandy, brought up Tate Wallace from Iowa City. He's going to go to Tennessee or he's going to go to some big school. And Iowa didn't even offer him. I don't think he even visited Iowa. Iowa didn't think he wanted to play linebacker, and Iowa told him, you ain't playing linebacker at Iowa. We'd move you to defensive end. And he didn't like it. And he never today he committed to Minnesota. Minnesota, other teams looked at him and he didn't get he visited Notre Dame, but Notre Dame told him, we're not going to offer you a scholarship. Notre Dame had the same view of him as Iowa did. Yeah.
Iowa is usually pretty good at evaluating players. They come in at one position and pretty much evaluate and ask them switch to another position because they think they'd be better at that. Example is that the guy who called himself the Swiss Army knife and left Iowa for Purdue. Iowa wanted him to be running back, but he wanted to be wide receiver. He did one season at wide receiver for Purdue, didn't get that many throws to him. But the following year with the new coach switched him over to running back. Duh. That coach knew something that Kirk Ferentz and company knew already, that the guy was a running back, and now he's in the NFL being a running back.
We're done recruiting linebackers. We got 3. We're going to get probably 2 more defensive linemen at least. People talk about their defensive line. We ain't going to be that good this year, but we got a lot of young defensive linemen. And we're going to get probably 4 in this recruiting class. And we're also going to get probably 3 or 4 defensive backs. And seems like Coach Wallace gets 3 linebackers every year. And people say, why do we get so many linebackers? Well, that's why we're good on special teams. Linebackers and defensive backs are great use on special teams. That's what makes our punt return, punt coverage, kickoff return good. That's my rundown on and there's a lot of guys recruited that's hopefully going to come and commit yet. Defensive end named Caskey. I think he's in Missouri or Kansas. Kuhn, the offensive lineman, I think he's from Missouri or someplace. And then the guy I really wants, Caleb Johnson, is a offensive lineman from Indianapolis.
Another Caleb Johnson? Maybe he'll be good as the previous Caleb Johnson at Iowa.
He won't. Hopefully he's as fast as an offensive lineman. That'd be like Superman. But he spells his first name different. But and then the guy, there's a great player in Indiana too that's like 6'8", 300 pounds. And he probably gonna go to Indiana, but he loves Iowa. He knows Iowa's the play. If you want to be an offensive lineman, you go to Iowa or Notre Dame. And then of course Des King's cousin, Flemister's his last name. He's from up in the Detroit area. He's a defensive back. Hopefully we get him. At one time he had Michigan as a team he wanted to go to, but Michigan has gotten some unbelievable recruits and he may not get an offer at Michigan. And there's also think his name is Jake Scott, who's a great defensive back also. And he might also end up going to Penn State or Indiana. But anyway, that's my rundown.
Yeah.
Next subject.
I'm interested to see how Campbell does at Penn State. If he can take this team to even more elite level than what he got Iowa State. There's no question he got Iowa State playing better than they had in a long time.
Yeah, there's 2 teams that you can mark down. 3 teams that you can mark down are going to the college football playoffs next year because of their crappy schedule.
Penn State.
Well, it's Penn State. Notre Dame has the easiest schedule in the country. The only tough game they got is Miami. And Miami ain't got very many tough games either. So
they missed all the good. They missed all the good ACC teams this year.
That's why the college football playoffs needed to be expanded more than 12, because they always let these crappy teams in, like James Madison and South Florida, whoever they were. I don't know. I don't keep track.
Well, speaking of the college playoffs,
just a minute. Let me finish.
All righty.
They always let in a couple crappy teams that, even if Iowa was the 6th best team in the Big Ten, Iowa would kick their ass. And now they got Notre Dame is scheduling these easy schedule. They're all Power 4 teams or Power 5, whatever, Air Force, stuff like that. But Notre Dame is not going to lose more than 2 games in a season, and it's just unfair that you have a team like Iowa that could beat Vanderbilt, and they didn't get a sniff at the playoffs last year.
Yeah.
When you go to 24, that Iowa team might be in the playoffs.
Okay, I got a question for you. Is the 24 guaranteed now, or is that still on the just talking?
That's a year away.
So they are going to 24.
It's pretty much a done deal. Even the SEC has thrown themselves kind of behind it. Okay. The SEC is they complain because really the Big Ten is the one that says, oh, we think you ought to at least play 9 conference games. The SEC says, the SEC says, oh, no, can't do that. Our league's too tough. Now they're playing 9 conference games.
Yeah.
And last year, the Big Ten wanted to go to 24 teams in the playoffs. And, the SEC doesn't need 24 in the playoffs because, but with the 9 conference games, they might need it because they'll probably add a loss to several of them top teams, right? The SEC is a tough conference. You can go play at Arkansas and lose. And Arkansas and Auburn's down sucky bottom of the SEC, but they're still competitive teams.
Yeah.
And the Big Ten's a little underrated as far as that goes.
Wow. Listening to Dockerman
they can make all the fun they want to of Rutgers, but when you show up and play Rutgers, you're in for it's a rock'em sock'em game.
No, I was just going to say, listening to Lysico and Dockerman the other day, they actually came out and said the Big Ten is now moved ahead of the SEC, but I don't think so, because I think top to bottom, SEC's better than the Big Ten top to bottom. Just my personal opinion.
I got a question for you, Dean.
What's that?
It's kind of changing the subject, but not really. What 2 teams are easily, over the last, how many years is it? 12 years. What 2 Big Ten teams are easily the worst 2 programs in the Big Ten?
Over the last 10 years?
Yeah.
Purdue and Maryland?
Oh, no.
Who are they?
Purdue was going to the Big Ten championship game and going to bowl games all the time when they had that coach Bromer or whatever, the coach at Louisville.
Okay. All right.
It's easily Nebraska. Have they been to 1 bowl game, and that was this last year. They barely got into one. Yeah. They didn't even have a winning season.
Okay. When was the last time Maryland and Rutgers have been to bowl games?
Rutgers has been to like 5 bowls in the last 7 years.
Okay, all righty.
They always finish 6-5 or something. And then UCLA. You know more about UCLA. Have they been to many bowl games the last 10 years?
As a member of the Pac-12, I think they were doing a lot better than they are as a member of the Big Ten.
So I'm very proud to say that Nebraska is the worst program in the Big Ten. Isn't that something to say?
It is. However,
Maryland went to a bunch
can
of
I
bowl
point
games.
something out? They have been to a bowl game the last 2 years. So I think Wisconsin is now the worst team in the Big Ten because they have a losing season for the last few years now. Last 4 or 5 years.
I said in the last 10 years.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. Wisconsin's had two or three bad seasons.
They've had more than that. They've had like 4 in a row.
Yeah, and they beat the hell out of Iowa probably half of those 10 years.
Oh, we've actually probably now in the last 10 years we've probably evened the series 5-5 against them.
I said half of the time.
Okay, all righty. All right.
And Maryland's went to several bowl games. Wasn't this the first bowl game with Nebraska? Didn't go to a bowl game last year. This year they did.
Didn't they? Didn't they go last year?
They were celebrating.
I thought they were 6-6 last year.
I thought they were celebrating this year that they finally went to a bowl game. I could be wrong, but
all right, I'll have to look that one up. Okay. Question before we leave, because I want to do wrestling real quick before we move on. But we forgot to talk about this, and I forgot about it. The basketball tournament moving to 76 teams. What do you think? Oversaturated?
Ain't nothing I can do about it. To me, it ain't a big deal, but I would rather they wouldn't have. It doesn't add any length to the basketball tournament. Them 4 play-in games will now be 8 play-in games?
I thought it was more than that, actually. I thought it was a little more than that. I thought it was like 12 play-in games.
I don't know.
Yeah, and they'll be at 2 separate locations now, not just Dayton.
They're going from 68 to 76. That's 8 more teams, so that's 4 games.
Yeah, but I think they're changing it a little bit still. I could be wrong. I'll have to look that up.
They'll still be Tuesday games and Wednesday games. They'll just play 16 games instead of 8, or 8 games instead of 4. I don't know.
Okay.
You do the math.
But I think in the long run, this also helps like one big leagues like, like let's say Drake last year when McCollum got him to the tournament. They won the Missouri Valley tournament, plus they won the regular season. Okay, let's say they had won the regular season, but you and I won the tournament. You and I would have got the automatic bid, and Drake would have been set out looking in and going to the NIT probably.
That's why they did it. Like this year, they had a team they had a very good team that did not win their conference tournament. And that I do like that they're letting that team that kind of earned it, even though a lot of these small schools that you say, oh, they earned it. They were 28-4, but they didn't play anybody.
Yeah.
Now they will get in there.
Yeah.
So,
okay. So let's talk about that. First, there's a question. Are Telford and Morningstar still on the wrestling staff? If so, they need to leave. I think one of them is gone. I can't remember which one.
Telford left, didn't he?
Yeah, Telford's gone. Yeah.
We got Sorensen is coming into coach the Iowa Wrestling Club. That was announced a couple days ago. And what was the name of the new guy that's going to come in and coach the heavyweights? I
forget which one, but I think he's a former Iowa.
Former wrestler at Iowa.
Yeah. Okay, well, and then there's 2 other former Iowa wrestlers. One just recently that will be coaching at Iowa State. Brett Metcalf is going to be the new head coach at Iowa State, so that the previous head coach, whose name is slipping my mind, is going to be like a general manager, overseer of both the women and the men's wrestling program. So he's going to have a lot to do with getting the recruiting wrestlers, I think, to the.
And he took Ayala too.
Yeah, and I was just going to say Drake Ayala, who, as you guys know, just ended his season as, I think, an
Mhm.
All-American, right? He finished as an All-American this
Yeah.
year. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've always rooting for Drake Ayala. I mean, it just really disappointed me. He finished his 2 seasons as runner-up and then didn't sniff
Mhm.
that again.
And then his little
Uh,
brother Drew's going with him.
oh yeah, I could see that. I could understand that. He's
Oh,
not getting any wrestling. He's not getting any wrestling time at Iowa.
it's already
Um,
been announced. So
okay, I missed that.
yeah.
Okay. So we got this new guy transfer from the JUCO college named Ray Griffith at heavyweight, All American, who finished on 4th and 6th place the last 2 years at the junior college level from North Idaho College. Um, do we really think? I mean, I don't want to be negative on this guy or anything, but do we really think that this guy can come in and compete for a starting position on the Iowa team and try to win Big Ten games and national title? I don't think so either. I just, if he was
Right.
national champ and just, dominating the junior college, then maybe. But I think this is like, I think you mentioned it yesterday. He might be just a wrestling dummy, somebody to practice with, to wrestle with and
I mean,
practice.
you don't know if Keeter's ever going to wrestle again with his health problems.
Mm-hmm.
They're
Don't we have any
probably
other
they're leaning
heavyweights
they're
in that
leaning
lineup?
on they're leaning on Mako's boy to be the heavyweight
Yeah,
probably. But
Michael
you need
Mako.
somebody.
Yeah,
But you need bodies in the other heavyweights in the room to wrestle against, practice against.
yeah, yeah.
You know,
That's probably why they brought him in. I hope they're
that was
honest with him.
that was me trying to make sense of it. Maybe the
Yeah,
kid's a lot better than what we know, but I don't know.
yeah. And then, of course, we got another transfer coming in. I think we talked about him before. Ryan Kirkham from Lehigh. He's another All-American
Mm-hmm.
at his wrestling weight, but I just don't see these guys we're bringing in from transfers contributing much to help us, because the goal is to upset Penn State and finish first in the national championship and the Big Ten. Are these guys going to really help us get there in the long run?
Mako will help, but I don't know. I all I know is I looked at the recruiting rankings this year, and out of the top 10 high school recruits, I think Oklahoma State had 6 of.
Yeah, yeah,
And
and they didn't. And
Oklahoma State's the only threat to Penn State, I think.
right now, I would agree with you on that 100%. Iowa's kind of
Mhm.
fallen off, and I just think we've got this other guy named Carter Schubert coming from Oklahoma.
You know,
He's going to help in the middle weights. We got Gray Pettit, and David Calkins, as well as Michael Malko coming in too. I
mhm.
don't know who else we've got coming.
I
Those are the
like that.
names that I was able to find.
I liked what I read about that Schubert
Okay, what'd
kid
you read
from
about him? Just for
Oklahoma.
that, out of curiosity.
That he was really good in. He came from Cal Baptist, I think, to begin with, and went to
And
Oklahoma, and I think didn't he make the did he make the NCAA tournament this year, Dean?
it did.
But
It doesn't say here if he did. I'm assuming it would have if when I researched the name, it
but he,
didn't say anything.
if I remember, see, this was 3 weeks ago
Mm-hmm.
when I was reading about him. It seems like he was doing pretty good in them outside the duels matches.
Mm-hmm.
The matches at the NCAA for some reasons let wrestlers they redshirt, but they wrestle 15 matches.
Because they technically wrestle unattached.
Yeah,
You
that
know,
doesn't make any sense to me, but it's probably good for wrestlers. So
it's definitely good for wrestling, the sport of wrestling, because these guys still get to wrestle in some of these side tournaments and side duels that don't count against their red shirt.
mhm.
So honestly, that's about all I really have right now. I don't have anything else to talk
Well,
about.
we've been on for 2 hours, so
Yes, we have.
mhm.
And you notice I my leg situation was a whole lot better today. I didn't stand up once and walk away.
I knew that if you gnawed it off, that it'd feel better.
Yeah. No, I've been getting some good sleep lately.
I feel real guilty about it because when I was a kid, I was a hunter and I trapped. And I do not feel good about killing animals anymore. And I certainly don't like when I go get a trap in a creek and it'd have all would be left was a leg in there because the animal had to chew its leg off. And I don't feel good about that, my past in that instance. So anyway, it was all about money. It was all about money, Dean.
Yep. All righty. I think we're going to let it go here. Guys, thank you for watching. Thank you for the comments. Thank you for the questions. I'm sorry that there was a technical glitch that I didn't realize that we weren't getting any comments for a while. Well, I knew we weren't getting any comments. It wasn't until I mentioned it, and I had four of you sent me private message to let me know. And one of them told me how to fix it, but I fixed it on my own. So, yeah. I hope we got all the comments in for you guys. I hope everything is going good. As we told you before, we have an upcoming, I hope soon, Iowa head coach of a sport, but I don't really want to name the name until we have it finalized what day, but that person has agreed to come on and talk to us.
Kelvin thinks he's got it figured out, but
well, you have to tell me off air what you think it is. Send me a text and tell me who you think it is.
No, it don't matter. I've been wrong before, so
yeah. Okay. All righty, guys. Thank you for watching. We appreciate it. We might be back later this week with breaking news, or maybe we'll just wait till Sunday. We'll see how it goes. I've been so busy this last several weeks. I'm getting ready to move into my new place, and we're renovating it. And
I was all prepared on Wednesday night. Had all this stuff fresh in my head. Tonight, I'm like, none of this is fresh. Other than the WNBA yesterday and today or something. But I was so prepared. And then Dean, you're halfway through the day, and Dean goes, "I'm canceling the podcast because I am totally unprepared." Like,
well, that was part of the reason, but I didn't think I wasn't going to get home in time either.
Yeah, that was the other reason. You go, "I'm totally unprepared." And I just replied, "Well, that'd be a good reason to cancel." No need. I don't like listening to a podcast where people are not. Yeah. I listened to one particular podcast that I won't mention where the guy is not prepared all the time. And you know who I'm talking about. But anyway, we're not going to mention the name. Anyway.
Nope. Okay, let's get out of here, guys. Let's do that. Okay. Thank you for watching. And we'll see you soon. Take care. Peace out. Go Hawks.